The story of King David is one of the most powerful and inspiring in history. A tale of faith, courage, triumph, failure, and redemption. In this video, we'll explore his full journey, from shepherd boy to Israel's greatest king, and the timeless lessons we can learn from his life. David's story begins in Bethlehem, where he was the youngest son of Jesse. While his older brothers were strong warriors, David was a humble shepherd. But God saw something in him that no one else did. When the prophet Samuel visited Jesse's family, God told him, "Man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart." 1 Samuel 16:7. When the giant Goliath threatened Israel, King Saul and his army were paralyzed by fear. But young David, armed with only a sling and faith in God, stepped forward. He declared, "The battle is the Lord's." 1 Samuel 17:47. With a single stone, he struck down the giant, proving that victory comes not by strength, but by faith in God. David's victory made him famous, but it also made him a target. King Saul, consumed by jealousy, tried to kill him multiple times. Yet David never retaliated, refusing to harm the Lord's anointed. 1 Samuel 24:6. Instead, he trusted in God's timing. While David was growing in favor with God, King Saul was moving further away. Consumed by jealousy and disobedience, Saul eventually sought guidance from a medium, an act forbidden by God. The prophet Samuel's spirit foretold Saul's doom, and soon after, Israel faced a crushing defeat against the Philistines. Saul and his sons, including Jonathan, were killed in battle, marking the tragic end of his reign. After years of trials, David finally became king of Israel. He united the tribes, conquered Jerusalem, and led with justice. But his greatest strength was his deep relationship with God. He wrote many of the Psalms, expressing his devotion, struggles, and trust in God. Even though Saul had been his enemy, David never forgot his deep friendship with Saul's son, Jonathan. When David became king, he inquired, "Is there anyone left of Saul's house to whom I can show kindness for Jonathan's sake?" 2 Samuel 9:1. He found Mephibosheth, Jonathan's son, who was crippled in both feet. Instead of executing him, as many kings did to rivals, David restored his grandfather's lands and invited him to eat at the king's table for the rest of his life. Even great leaders fall. David's darkest moment came when he committed adultery with Bathsheba and arranged the death of her husband, Uriah. But when confronted by the prophet Nathan, David humbled himself, repented, and wrote Psalm 51, crying out to God for mercy. When David faced consequences for his sin, God's grace was still at work. His son Solomon, born from his later marriage to Bathsheba, would go on to build the magnificent temple of God in Jerusalem, a task David himself was not allowed to complete due to his history as a warrior. God used Solomon to establish a legacy of wisdom and worship, showing that his plans prevail even through human failures. Despite his failures, David remained a man after God's own heart. Acts 13:22. His legacy lived on through his son Solomon and ultimately Jesus Christ, the Son of David. The life of King David teaches us faith, courage, humility, and the power of God's grace. No matter where you are in your journey, his story reminds us that God can use anyone for his purpose. If you found this story inspiring, Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful biblical stories. Let me know in the comments what lesson from David's life impacted you the most.